Today we got the review of this gun. This is the JG AK47 Tactical with the skeleton side folding stock. For starters, this is not my AG. This is a new player of ours, Justin. This is his first AEG. He's going to start playing with us when we head down to Milwaukee, so you're probably going to see him with this and that ATP that was in the review. Now, if you want to check the internals of this gun, you can check in the video description. There's a full breakdown of the gearbox and the hop-up and inner barrel, so you can check that out. But let's get on with the actual review of the gun. Now, let's get over what it's made with. The gun itself is kind of like a combination of metal, plastic, and cheap plastic. Alright, the body here is a plastic. Same with the pistol grip, the front RIS, and some of the screws and stuff when I was taking apart. Some of the actual threading was plastic, and it was kind of a surprise. Metal parts would be the stock here, which does fold to the side and lock into place. It's not going anywhere, trust me. The upper dust cover where your battery is housed. You can only fit an 8.4 volt stick or some form of LiPo in this gun. Your sling mount, metal of course. Same with your trigger guard, selector switch, dummy bolt, and then this whole front assembly here is made of metal. So let's start with the gun from the front to the back. Usually it's going to come with a orange muzzle cap. It's just like a little shingle, I would guess. It's not really a flash hider at all, it's just a little cap that goes on. You can take it off pretty easily with some hot water and twisting. Underneath it though there is quite long 14mm counterclockwise threading. So you can fit any flash hider like we did on here. We fit this Shark Attack flash hider. The front sight here is metal and it's pretty sturdy. When we got it though it was loose. There's a small screw underneath. You can just tighten it. It's Phillips head. You can tighten it and screw it down. That's not going to go anywhere. Your front sight is adjustable for elevation only. It comes with a little tool. You just put on and twist it. The outer barrel here has some form of threading just for design. It is one piece and it's metal and it's pretty sturdy. It's not going to go anywhere. Your fake gas tube, which is metal. Your IS handguards, which can either be a con or a pro for this gun. Personally, I like the look, but its functionality is not the best. Because as you can see, who really wants a red dot that's this far up on the gun? I mean, when you're shouldering this, that red dot's pretty far up, and if you have a scope on there, which we have put a scope on this, it does weigh it down a bit. So it is kind of a con. It does come with side rails as well, but he's taking them off. The back sight here is adjustable again for elevation only. You got like 9 different settings, and you really won't be adjusting it because, just set it on one, you're good to go for the day. The charging handle right here exposes your hop-up. You can also see the batteries in there. We have an 8.4 volt intellect currently hooked up, which is probably the biggest and the best you're going to be able to fit in here. Now, one thing I was surprised with this gun was the hop-up was pretty good for a JG. I know on the AUG that I've owned and some of the M4s I've seen, the hop-up was not the best. This one does a pretty good job. The only con is sometimes after you're done shooting, it will slowly start to reset itself. So, I mean, you can set it and then start shooting, and then after 30 rounds, it'll already go back to 0, so that's kind of a con. For a fix, you'd probably just have to tighten down that screw, but I'm not sure. I don't want to mess with the hop-up. Now, I'm not going to take the upper cover off here to show you the battery and stuff, because getting the battery in and out is a really tight fit, and we've already had some problems with the fuse and the wiring and the actual plate that holds the battery. There's only one screw that holds the battery holder in, and that screw is already broken. So basically it's only being held in when this is on securely, and it's on securely, so it's not going to be going anywhere. But if I were to take this off, the whole piece would basically just explode out and we'd have a problem. So, for durability, I mean, it's kind of as expected. You get problems with the JG. But yeah, that piece is broken. Other than that, though, I mean, you can fit the battery in there fine. Well, the fuse, too, I should talk about that. The fuse connectors that hold the fuse into place. We didn't want to deal with that. I told him, you know what, it's just not going to be a good thing to deal with. So basically we just soldered the wires together, skip the whole fuse process, which the fuse really doesn't do much anyway. Moving back to the pistol grip, you have this ergonomic G26 style pistol grip where the motor is housed. It's a short type motor. You can check the internals video like I said. It's really comfortable. It's got finger holes, and it really gives you grip on the weapon. Moving back, holding stock, push down, bolts to the right, and it's not going to be going anywhere, right? You really have to pull it to get it out of the locking position. One con though is it's pretty wobbly, but you can replace this and put on an AK stock, full stock, or unfolding stock. You just remove this screw here, and then the screw on the other side, and it'll come right out. Now, the power on this gun, it's a JG with a 400 millimeter inner barrel, so it's probably shooting 400 FPS. Does suffer from, an air seal problem. The rate of fire is pretty good. I'm not going to shoot it inside, but I mean it's a pretty decent rate of fire for an 8.4 bolt. It definitely was improved as well when I took it apart and put it back together, not even doing anything to it, just to get all that crappy grease out. But it's a respectable rate of fire for an 8.4. If you were somehow to manage to fit a 9.6 in here, you would be pleased with the rate of fire, I guarantee you. Now, the magazine with this gun is a 600 round plastic waffle style magazine. It's got, the quick line feature here, wheel at the bottom. It's a pretty good magazine. He bought an extra magazine that was a metal D-Boys one. This one is by far superior. The only con with this magazine is on most AKs, the mag fits in pretty well. This one's pretty wobbly, and the reason for that is the piece that holds the magazine in front fell out, and I have to find a way to put that back in. I was just messing with it one day, testing it out, and it just fell right out. So probably going to have to take the front end off again and reinsert it. But when that piece is in there, there's no magazine wobble at all. And even like right now, it still feeds alright. Now, that's another thing I should talk about is feeding. Is there were some feeding issues with this gun. It wouldn't feed all the time, and on full auto it would just miss shots. So it's not a very consistent gun, which is kind of a disappointment. But I mean, it's a JG. My gripe with them. Other than that, I mean, externally it's an AK, so it's pretty. It sounds like it's gonna fall apart, but it's pretty solid. I mean, you're not going to have pieces breaking off on you. The only piece I can see breaking off might be the stock. I mean, it's just beyond wobbly for me. But other than that, I mean, if you were to drop this or smack the front end against something, you're probably not going to have to worry about anything breaking. But yeah, that's been the review of the JG Tactical AK47.